Hello everyone. This is the sixth part in the Entrepreneurial Software Engineering class where we start talking about going public with your software. There are two kinds of ways of going public. There is the first stage of going public, which is targeting a very particular set of users to just get their feedback on your software before going live, which is the second stage. This first stage, you're basically targeting a bunch of beta testers, a group of people that agreed to look at your software and decide, give you some feedback around what worked and what didn't work out for them. This stage needs to be something that you can accomplish as soon and as fast as possible, and you need to be a lot more responsive to changes as you go. So here's what we're going to do today. It's a very important that you pick up a technology that allows you to try and roll out new technologies as fast as you can. It allows you to make changes and then roll these out and deploy them, as fast as you can, because the sooner you're able to deploy your software, putting it out there to the world, the sooner you will get feedback, the faster you'll be able to mature your project. And this is a very important thing when you're picking up a programming language or an integrated development environment like Visual Studio that we're using in this class, or a cloud provider. It's important for you to pick up an ecosystem that just works and takes care of all that boilerplate stuff that you do not need to waste your time with. It's very important that you focus on just the stuff that makes your software different from everybody else's, the stuff that uniquely identifies your software. So you want to pick up technologies and tools that allows you to roll out new changes as fast as possible. And today I'm going to show you how we can do that with an integrated development environment like Visual Studio, in addition to C# and Microsoft Azure. So I'm going to go here and start a new project. I'm going to pick up an ASP.NET Core web application, and then I'm going to call it fastest app to the market. It's just a name for our app. It can be anything you want. And then I'm going to pick up a web application, ASP.NET Core 2.2, that's just the version. And then I'm going to create the app. Just to make sure, it's very important that you test. You are the first audience for your software. So you want to make sure that when you are looking at your software, you try to put yourself, it's the hardest thing ever if you're a software engineer. The hardest thing ever is when you are trying to build a web application and putting yourself in the shoes of the people who are going to use your software. It's very hard, but it's not impossible. So here we're testing our application. This is just a website or a web application. We're gonna make a little bit of a change in here just to make sure, this is our application and our changes are, let's say, one of the changes we wanna do, we're just gonna change this HTML in here, and we're gonna say our fastest new web application. Right, so it's very important when you're building web applications that you have basic skills like C#, HTML, CSS, basic skills, basic languages that helps you catch up, and be able to modify and develop web applications. Here's a little tag that I changed. It's our fastest new web application. So this is our change. Now I want to share that with the world. Currently the application is running locally on my machine into a local server that we're hitting by hitting localhost URL. We want to deploy that to the outside world, so you have these targeted audience of beta testers look at your software. So I'm going to go ahead in here, right click on my application and click publish. And then I'm going to click create a new profile for publishing my app. So I'm going to call it fastest web app to the market. That's going to be the name, and then I'm just going to pick up a resource group, fastest web app to the market. And then here is a hosting plan. So what did I set in here? I set what my URL is going to look like. It's going to be fastest web app to the market.azurewebsites.net. It means that we're deploying our application in a cloud provider or a server that we call Azure, right? And that requires you to have a subscription. You can so easily get $200 of credit, when you subscribe to Azure to try to deploy your applications. Free credit, $200. You could play around with that. So we have a resource group. This is where our application is going to live, and this is the hosting plan to control the costs of our application. A simple app like this shouldn't cost anything at all. So, and then we're going to click create just to deploy our application. It's very important to understand that different environments and different platforms require different styles and forms of deployment. So when you're deploying to mobile application like an Android phone is different than deploying to an iOS phone, is different than deploying to a desktop application that runs on Windows or Mac or Linux. And then also there's the web. The web is king because everyone has browsers, regardless of whether they're using phone, whether they're using a desktop application or mobile application. Everyone out there has a browser. This is why web applications are the top. But it's very important that when you're building your web applications, that you're using styles and technologies that are responsive. By responsive, I mean that are mobile friendly. They can render nicely on the phone. So now that we published our application, if you look at the top here, you'll see fastest web app to the market.azurewebsites.net. That I can visit from anywhere in the world. That I can take that link and just copy it and give it to anybody, and they will be so easily able to visit the website and check it out for themselves. It's very important that you use technologies like these to help you get out there and put your ideas out there to people, right? I want you to play around with creating web applications like this and deploying them to Azure, and let me know in the comments section, how that experience was like. It's very important that you put your application out in the public. You have a way, like, do not sit and develop an application for 3 months and then come out to the public. That doesn't make sense. Have smaller iterations, very small iterations that allow you to put it out there, to put the application out there, no matter what it is, and get feedback on it. So that's pretty much it for our course today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop in the comment section, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching.